right before we start. That's the best way to do it. All right. Audio is recording first. 3, 2, 1. How is everybody doing out in the world out there? I am sitting here in the room with Alex Webster, right? And Chris, just met him today. Don't know his last name, so...
Just Chris, no. Chris Henderson.
Chris Henderson?
Yeah.
Okay, so Alex Webster and Chris Henderson. And they were, okay, and they were in a band called So Called. And it was a... how would you guys describe your genre? Because I've heard some of the music, and it's...
punk. Let's just go with punk.
I would say alternative.
Like emo punk or punk
alternative
core.
is good to me. That's what I put on DistroKid is alternative. So
okay, and alternative is a good one because it kind of covers a lot of. It's kind of like covers a whole spectrum of music, right? Cool, man.
I think iTunes refers to it as pop.
Do they?
Yeah.
There's a couple sites because Records goes through DistroKid, and a couple sites just autofill that stuff. So there's a few one-off sites out there that stream music that you pull it up and it's like. Pop. We'll just emo. Like, wait, what? Hang on. Oh, well, emo kind of fits, I guess. You know, whatever.
We'll just go with pop punk.
We're So Called, and we are industrial jazz.
Freeform industrial jazz. And you have to play. If you're gonna do jazz, it's got to be freeform.
Exactly.
You got to play all the wrong notes, but make them all right.
Instead of smooth jazz, rough jazz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool, dude. Well, that's awesome. So we're in a punk band called So Called, but you guys still have an EP coming out.
Yes.
And you just, like you guys were telling me earlier, you just put the music out, right?
Yesterday. It's being pushed to stores, and then like in a week or two, it'll be like out.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. How many songs on that?
Five.
And it's called Overturn.
Mm-hmm.
Did I see that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you guys haven't seen it, do you guys have the artwork up on like your Facebook or anything yet?
Yeah, we just posted it today. So
Today? Was that today?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, look at this.
Like
See?
an hour ago.
So you heard it here first. That's why you got to get on this podcast because you can hear things like this first. It's sick, dude. You sent me the art for it. Was that last night you sent me the art for it? Dude, I was really, really impressed. Who did that work?
Louis Coe, same guy that did the music video for Figures in Fiction for Chase Sandoval.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
have his single or his song Drive?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I watched through it. I didn't know who actually did. I think I was talking to whoever I had in here last, Poetry No Pros. I was talking to them about his music video, and I thought that Calvin Martinez did it, but it was this other guy.
Yeah, Louis. I think
I don't know if I know him.
he put it together. I just remember one day he actually asked me to be on the music video as well, and
okay.
I met up with Louis, and I know of him, and so I saw him on Facebook, and he was like, "Hey, you need cover art done or music videos?" And I was like, "Oh, cool, I'll do it."
Oh, nice, man.
So-
Okay, cool. Well, it's a really, really well put together video, man. It's great. The production is great on it, and the song itself. Shout out Chase. This is seriously like I think the 7th or 8th time he's made it on this show. I shout him out like every single time.
He's got some talent,
Dude,
man.
he is a phenomenal guitar player. It's crazy. I don't know, man. And he's so humble and just like super introverted, which is okay because I'm the same way. Like
Yeah.
I'm really introverted, but it's cool, man. He gets up on stage and he fucking lights it up. It's cool. It's really, really cool. And his voice is super. I don't know. I compare him to kind of like I don't know. This could start some controversy, but I compare him to kind of like a modern day better version of the Front Bottoms.
Ooh,
Like with
yes.
the way that he sings, you know, and
Yeah.
like. But he plays guitar. I mean, he could play either one of those kids under the bus. So
His finger
Kind of like
picking
the
is out of this
indie
world.
enunciation with his words and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, this podcast isn't about So-Called, it's about Figures in Fiction.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Just came to
Yeah.
shout him out.
Like I said, he just randomly happens to come up. That's how you know you're good, man. Way to go, buddy. Okay, so we need to get into how come you guys are not a band anymore? Before that, let's get into like some shows that you played. Because I've seen you guys play, right? We played with you, haven't we? Records has played with you, haven't we?
I think so. It's been a minute.
That was
Yeah.
before I joined, yeah.
Okay. When did you join? So it started out as different members? Because you've always been in the band, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Was it 2017? Like
I think
Christmas
it was
time?
after
It was. We played that Christmas show, but I went and saw the Halloween show. So it was somewhere between like a month period
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
of learning all the songs.
Wow.
And everything.
Okay. All right.
But he hopped right on it, dude. He was phenomenal. His playing, you could tell he did the practice. And
You play leads then? You played lead
We
guitar or
kind of switched off.
Really?
Back
Okay.
and forth, yeah.
Okay.
It was just whoever's better at something. Like I can't do the technical tapping stuff that Case can.
Sure.
But
Dude,
He just doesn't, want to learn. He's not motivated to learn, although he can do it.
you confident he could do it, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. With his skill, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Dude, Case is actually another one of those kids that's pretty impressive to watch, man. He's a good drummer. He's a good guitar
Amazing.
player. And
He's an instrumentalist by heart.
Yeah.
Not just a specific instrument. It's just instrumentalist.
he can just pick something up and make it work, huh? That's what I've noticed about him, man. He's good. And like I can do like my forte is drums mostly, but I'm really good at drums, but that doesn't seem to transfer to guitar. Like I can play guitar, but I'm no wizard, I'm mostly playing block chords and stuff. Like I don't know, I'm more rhythm based, I guess, when it comes to guitar, but that's probably because I grew up playing drums, so it's like meat and potatoes, that side of it transfers over. But so that's cool. How long have you been playing guitar? Because I don't know anything about you, man. Like I didn't
I want to say like 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was the freshman year of high school. Got a guitar for my birthday and then just taught myself how to play.
Okay. You dudes are young, aren't you?
I'm 22.
I just turned 21 the 10th.
Yeah, okay.
So
we're all adults here, everyone. Okay. That's cool. Josh Wingrove is 22 also. I didn't know that. He's a young buck, dude. Speaking of drummers, man.
He's phenomenal too.
He's amazing, yeah.
Casper's got some freaking talent.
Straight up. Yeah, and it's starting to like I say this on almost every podcast also. There's just the scene is starting to happen in Casper, and like the talent's coming out, and like these really, really fucking cool projects are coming out of it, so called. And I think Get Bent's got some cool stuff going on too, man. I don't know what the thing is or whatever, but there's just like a lot of like, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of kids coming out of the woodwork all of a sudden. There's bands popping up all over the place, and they're playing everywhere. And like it seems like every weekend you can go out and see a band that you haven't seen before. Yeah. And someone in that band is bound to be a fucking virtuoso. Like, but the last like 4 or 5 bands that I've gone out and seen, and I'm like, who is this? And figure out the name. It's like, oh, it's this so and so. I am always like, I always walk out of there like, man, that one guy can fucking shred. Or I've seen a couple guys, a couple older dudes in this town that play piano, and fuck, dude. That's what I make that argument all the time. Piano is fucking hard to play. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
You guys know? Can you guys play piano?
I kind of play it by ear, but yeah,
very simple stuff.
That's where I'm at. Like, and I took piano for like 2 years, man, and I still I make the claim. I walked out of that classroom and 60% of what I learned was already gone.
I don't know. It's interesting. Like once we played Rodstock, I think it was Jack's and Spencer's junior year, and I think I was already graduated by then. After we had played Rodstock as so called for the first time, that's when people actually started getting out of their comfort zones more so, and then they just started playing, and then we played Rodstock their senior year, and that's when everybody's just like, let's play a show, and let's hop on it.
And Rodstock, is that a high school?
That was Kelly Walsh's talent show.
Okay,
it's kind of like Woodstock, but they call it Rodstock.
I think I remember seeing you making posts about it on Facebook. Is how I learned about that.
So where we first came out with what's that song?
Memories Fade.
Memories Fade. Yeah. That was like our first hit.
Watching videos of that because I still lived in Washington at the time.
Yeah, we never got to record that one or 07, 04. Those were like our first hits.
You kind of recorded.
We tried. No, it was Memories Fade that we tried to record through Drake Shearer's brother. What's his name? Shearer.
No, it was 07, 04 because I still. No, yeah, no, it was 07, 04.
Oh,
because of the I've been thinking about the summer.
yeah. But
so it was that one.
Yeah, it's just ever since then, people have just kind of wanted to play more shows. I think they kind of saw it in us that they were like just normal high school kids were just kind of hopping out of their comfort zones and
so
and
that's a lot of what it is. Maybe it's like a newborn confidence in kids that are just ready to get out of their comfort zone. And it's funny because I think for a lot of musicians, once you find that you get up on stage and you have that first successful moment, like you get people clapping and you feed off the energy, it's like it's so addicting that you're like, okay, that's it. I'm doing that. I'm probably going to be doing this forever, at least trying to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's cool. How many original members, like in the high school, when you guys started at high school, how many original members were there?
There were 5. It was Alan Harley, Noah Matson, Jack Lund, me, and who was the other person? It was
Spencer. Was it
Spencer? Yeah, it was Spencer. Did I not mention Spencer? I thought I did. Spencer Smith.
Okay. Yeah, shout outs, boys, if you're out there. If you ever come across this, man.
Sorry, Spencer.
Sorry, Spence, but we got you, man.
But yeah, it started with them, and then as soon as we all graduated, I think Alan went to college, Noah went to the Army,
okay.
and then we recruited Ethan Smith. He was our bassist. Yeah, he went off to Weekend Jazz. We kind of started him off in music, and he was more confident in music after So Called. And so, good job, Ethan. You found your calling.
Yeah, hey, there you go, buddy.
And we also had like Wyatt Jones. He was our guitarist for like a little bit. He played Rod Stuck with us the second time, and he was a really good fill-in, but he couldn't do it because of the time. And there was David Johnson for lead singer at Get Bent.
Yeah.
He was our bassist for a little bit.
Like a week.
Maybe that's when I saw you, because I vaguely remember him being a part of what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's when I came across you guys. I don't know. It's possible.
Because we had that acoustic show with him at Metro, but we also played at the Firefly with him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys play with us at the Metro when Records played full band at the Metro, and it was like that fucking we did our
pretty
CD
sure we
release
played
thing?
a show with you guys. Yeah,
I think that might have been it.
I can't
remember.
Put my finger on it.
I'm so bad with remembering dates when we played, dude. I need Brandon for that. Brandon, where you at? Get in here, dude. He can remember all that shit. I can't.
And then I think the last person we recruited was Elijah Pacheco.
Yeah.
As our bassist. He was one of the last members. It was basically Case, and of course Case came in, but Case, Elijah, me, Jack, and Chris.
Okay.
That was the last members before we
disbanded.
Kind of broke it off. Yeah.
Okay. So was that when you guys did the work with Colton? Were all 5 of you involved in that also?
Turnover. When we first released the single Turnover, it was Ethan still in the band.
And Case had just
joined, but he came out with some sick parts just for just joining. Man.
Yeah,
sure, it was awesome.
The leads on that one, like the tappy parts at the beginning and stuff like that, he did.
And that was before Colton actually got his big studio in Restoration Church.
Sure.
And
so you guys working with him in his little basement space that he had?
Yeah. Just for the single, and then once the 5-song EP came out, he was working in the Restoration Church by then, and that's when it all happened for Overturn is what we call it.
Overturn.
We'll have to explain, why it's Turnover to
Overturn. That's what I was going to ask. I was like, wait, isn't your single called Turnover?
It was like Turnover was like to represent us kind of making a change and making serious like changes to make this band a priority, and we did. Like that's what the song was about. It was more like we wanted to start playing more shows and get recordings done, make practice like a priority. It was make it our like life. And so after like during the recording process, I don't know, it kind of put a lot of stress on us. We didn't have a lot of money, but we brought all of this money together as much as we could. And then after we paid for it, we were all broke. Yeah. Like it was hard to live for a little bit.
That's not uncommon for recording.
But I think it stressed us out so much that it just kind of became a little bit overturned. To like it definitions is like on its side or upside down, like the Turnover became Overturned. It was more like it just kind of blew up in our faces a little bit. We decided that we weren't just like prepared. You have to be financially stable. You'd have to like, I don't know. It's just hard to be in a band these days, when you
being in a band
don't have the money or time or.
I mean, half of being in a band is buying the gear to play, right? I mean, you got to have stuff to play.
Yeah.
And I know, we all know. I mean, every musician out there knows it's a fucking struggle, man. Buying gear it will make you broke for a long, long time. Like, and it sucks because it's such a rabbit hole. Like, you buy one thing. I mean, with this, you guys see all my stuff. Like, I get carried away so fast. Like, it takes nothing at all. You buy one piece of gear, and before you know it, you're like, because it opens up whole different worlds. Like you buy your first audio interface. And you plug it into a microphone, even a shitty microphone, because usually, if you're just starting out, you typically start out with an interface to go into a laptop, and you usually have like a shitty Radio Shack microphone. But just that in itself, when you are a first timer and you get everything set up and the mic comes on and you can hear it in a set of headphones, you're like, oh my god, that sounds so clear. Either that or you're like, oh my god, that's what I fucking sound like. Oh no, dude, I give up now. Like, but yeah, it's so a big part of it is just saving up and buying gear, and that's hard to do, like you said, when you got a budget of life too.
It's probably worth it in the end, but it just all matters when how you're noticed, or how
is
much.
Is there an end though? That's just it. Like in the end, what happens? You just have a shitload of gear, even if you made it really well. You still just have a shitload of boxes hanging out around your house.
Like we kind of looked up to a lot of the stories so far, Knuckle Puck, Neck Deep, those main bands that a lot of pop punk looks up to. But you just kind of see them, and it's like, how can we get there? Yeah. And we absolutely did our best. We probably could have made it. It's just now is not right timing.
Sure.
I would kind of say it's for me at least.
Well, like for me, the whole spending issue on the EP wasn't too hard. Like I had saved up that money for like 8 months at a time because I was ready to do it for so long, but it was everybody else getting on schedule with it. So that part wasn't hard, but I think at the same time, there was other members of our band that kind of wanted to do other things with their life, or starting to, like start a family and things like that. Live their life. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
So I think it was a mixture of the stress of recording and having to do things over and over and over again, getting on schedule with everybody's work schedules, the money issue, and that all weighing on certain people.
Sure.
So it all kind of it crumbled a little bit.
It can, man. That shit can be super crippling. And that's another thing, too, is... like you were saying, you have to work with everybody's schedule, and typically, I know from experience, you guys probably do too. When you schedule time in a studio, like that's the time you're scheduled for, and at that point, once you get to the point where you have it scheduled, at that point, like your time is your time, and if you miss that time, well, that's kind of on you guys. Like it's not on the producer to get you guys in the room for the time that you paid for. It's on you guys to show up, to use the producer. To his advantage and get the best product that you can. So it's really, really hard to coordinate, especially like you guys said, people start lives. I know, especially now, I'm 30 years old, man. Everyone I know has a wife and a kid and a house, and like it gets extra tough at that point, because you can't just walk away from shit at that point. You can't cancel plans at that point and go, oh, well, we're going to go do this cool thing really quick. I got to go out with my buds real quick and do this thing. No, because wife's at home going, no. No, you're not doing that. You're making dinner with us and we're going to eat like we had planned and all that stuff. So totally makes sense, man. That stuff can get really, really stressful. It gets stressful in here sometimes when we're writing records albums, just trying to get everyone in here like, hey man, we got a group vocal to do. I need everyone to show up for a group vocal. We have to get it done, and sometimes it'll take us weeks and it gets frustrating. It definitely does.
And like sometimes it's hard for like, you get like either writer's block a lot of the time, or inspiration.
Oh man.
You have to go to shows to get inspiration sometimes, go to concerts. Don't just kind of worry about yourself and what you're doing and the music you're writing. I do recommend going to concerts and
not just concerts that you're comfortable with the genre either. Go to go to everything. I go to a lot of metal shows and I'm not a metal kid at all. Like metal music doesn't really, I like it, but it's not, it's not something I get in my car and I'm looking for a metal band to play, right? I'm usually looking for a pop punk or a punk or something like that. But I like going to metal shows because those guys are metal guitar players. There's something about them, dude. They're so fucking talented. I don't know how it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But then again, I'm not a super talented guitar player, but it's cool to watch. I'm sure it's similar to like watching a really, really good drummer. Like you get to watch them and just like, oh my god, dude. And like you said, it gives you inspiration. You want to take that stuff home and go, dude, that was a really cool thing he did. Like, and just watching you earlier, I was watching you on Facebook, man. That little fill thing you were doing. I'm sitting here like, how's he doing that? That's kind of neat looking. Just
it was rough, man, but it was worth it in the end. But it kind of all comes back to when you're asking us like, what is our genre? And this EP, when it came out, or before it even came out, we noticed like the songs don't even sound like each other. And so it's like one song sounds like it's post-punk or post-hardcore. That one's Goo, and like the other ones sound like our Stuck in My Room kind of sounds pop punky. Pop punky. It's like that's one other thing is why we we just kind of had differences in our writing and we couldn't decide on one genre is the thing. And so it's like we were working with different people and sometimes we didn't even come all together to write these songs. And we were just kind of like writing with one person, writing with the next person,
piecemealing everything together.
Just kind of came with different genres, and you gotta decide. Well, at
a certain point,
or you just don't have to, and just be like, whatever. I'm just gonna make different genres in one album. You can deal with it.
It's tough to say. Sometimes it's tough, man. sometimes I'll write, and like especially when you said you're piecemealing the songs together. Sometimes I'll be putting together something for records, and typically it starts out with me in here. I'll type in a little drum thingy, you know, and just to get me started because I have a guitar idea. And then that'll start to develop into a song. Well, sometimes I get carried away with my own writing style, you know, and I'm like, before I know it, I've got half a song written. And I haven't even showed it to anyone else in the band. And it's like, someone else could come in here and go, that, you know, I don't like this part or I don't like that part. And then by that point, I'm so fucking opinionated about it because I did all the work. Any fucking criticism, I'm like, fuck you, dude. You get in here and write something better, you know. And then I can see how it causes tension every once in a while, man.
Unless you're working by yourself, you know, like Chase, he does a lot of soloing stuff.
Zach Schomer, hey, shout out Zach Schomer.
Kid's
a fucking beast too, man.
It just you have to come together to create the music that you all want and that you all agree with. Otherwise, I mean, you're just gonna have musical differences.
Yeah, and that was one thing that was hard for me when I joined, because like pop punk to me was still Sum 41, Simple Plan, Blink, like the older pop punk. I didn't even never heard of Neck Deep or Knuckle Puck or that
Beartooth
kind of stuff.
or any of those guys.
None of that before, because I am by heart a metal kid. So
are you really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Here I am talking shit on metal. Sorry.
So like it was hard for me to go from like playing like Black Dahlia Murder and Slipknot and Metallica kind of stuff like that to pop punk.
Oh yeah.
Like I think the first thing was True Contria by Knucklepuck. You're like, learn this and then we'll see it. I was like, all right.
Oh, you ever heard of Belmont? Man?
Oh yeah, dude. Those guys are insane,
dude.
Man.
Like all the guitarists when they first came out of high school, the guitarists and like the bassist, they were all like, yeah, we like Neck Deep and Story So Far, Knucklepuck, and then the drummer's like, yeah, I listen to like Slipknot, and that's why he's got like so much metal drumming.
You can tell,
in their music, which makes them so much cooler.
Dude, the first time
those drums,
dude, the first time I saw their video, I think Alex Clark, my guitar player, showed them to me. He's like, dude, you ever heard this band called Belmont? And I was like, nope. And he pulled them up on YouTube, and we watched the video, and I was just like, dude, what the fuck is going on? It's just so like. There's not a single part of the song with the video. I don't remember what the name of it's called, but they're like jamming in a yard outside of someone's house or whatever, and kids playing the Gretsch Catalina kit. But yeah, it's like not a single part of that song is the same as another part. Like everything is constantly changing, and their guitars are doing the craziest shit. They're making like weird sound effects and shit with the frets and like strumming the top neck and stuff. It's like above the nut and stuff. Like it's a weird thing, man, but they make it work so fucking well.
I love how he knew what song you were talking about. He's like overstepping.
As soon as like
that's what it was.
The weird thing, because like I don't know.
It's all
I don't know what it's called, but if you take the pick and like put it completely like vertical and then scrape the strings upwards, it makes like a laser sound.
Yeah, that's okay.
And
good
then
to know. I'm gonna start trying that shit.
It's really cool. Gojira uses it a lot.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, they use it a ton, but it's a really cool thing to use.
Yeah, dude, it definitely sold me on them. Like not to mention the fact that they were super fucking technical, but also like just they were putting in really creative shit. That seems like you said seems like it should be metal stuff. Their drummers like crazy accents with the cymbals and stuff, and like he's all over the bells, which is like which is totally metal kind of
which
thing.
I think would have been really cool, or that's something we did with Goo. Our first song is like we kind of had a little bit metal, like I don't know, he's a metal guitarist and we were pop punk, and so we created something like different, kind of like Belmont did, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And so the Goo sounds a lot more post-hardcore than the rest of the songs. I think it's cool, and that song's about a cat.
Literally, we were sitting there. I remember I was at work, and our vocalist texted us this poem, and I was like, "What is this?" And he was like, "It's about Goo." I was like, "We have to use that in a song."
Goo is our band cat.
Okay, I was gonna say, is that the name of the cat then?
I was like, because that is beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful poem.
That's about a cat.
Because Case had a cat, Beans, and Beans was allowed outside. And Goo wasn't, because he was still a kitten.
Yeah.
So it was basically from the point of Goo, like, what makes me different from you?
Bro, the light's on outside the door, man. Didn't you see it? Come on. No, it's all good.
But it's like, why are you allowed outside and I'm not? That's kind of what the song was about, is from Goo's perspective about that.
See. Okay.
Like, what makes me different from you?
And like the beginning, we yell the F word because it's like Goo saying like, I want to go outside, you know?
Sure.
And so it's really cool. We all got in the studio and we all yelled the F word.
Nice. There you go.
I blew my voice out doing it. I was loud as fuck.
Group vocals are fun, man.
Dude, our we always try and save group vocals for the very end, because my philosophy on recording is once you get like record, like we were talking about, recording's fucking stressful. So it's really nice that at the end, once everything's put together and you're layering all the vocals, at the very end, everyone can just come in and fucking yell.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's like the icing on the cake thing.
It's like a stress relief,
Yeah,
too.
get all the stress out. We're going to fucking get angry at this mic. It doesn't have to sound right. It doesn't just fucking yell in the room.
Yeah.
We're going to do it like 7 times and then stack them all together and call it good.
Dude, it's awesome.
Group vocals are the shit.
We also did some group vocals on Stuck in My Room.
We did Stuck in My Room. Holes? Did we do that? No. He just layered his
Torn.
vocals. And then, Torn.
Or
And then we also have... So Colton had a bunch of, like, a blooper reel, basically.
Yeah?
Of all of our vocals.
is that on there? Are we releasing that?
No. So he put that all and compiled it. And the song Stuck in My Room starts out with that. It's like, stuck in my room. But it sounds like he says, duck in my room. So it's just a giant mess of chaos.
And then I just started doing duck noise like...
and just me or Case going in the vocal booth with our vocalist and just screaming and like messing with him and stuff like that. And if we print out like CDs or something like that, because I didn't put
It's like
it
a
on
bonus, like
Yeah,
we're gonna
I'm
do.
not even gonna
a
title
hidden
it. I'm just gonna put it on there,
No,
and then
you title it "Duck in My Room."
no,
That's
no,
what
no.
it is.
Well, it's not gonna be on the Spotify and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it's
only
too
on the
late for
pressing.
that.
Only on
What
the
is
pressing.
this?
Yeah. So it's gonna be like on there, and then they're gonna like listen to the whole thing, and then it's gonna wait. Song's gonna end, and then it's gonna restart with stuff, and I'm like, wait, what? And then it's just gonna go into that crazy.
They're like, what am I listening to right now?
What is this?
That's cool. I have a couple of those. I tend to save like the last time my band Presley Avenue, one of the other bands that I'm in, was recording their single in here. Lane Dennison was doing vocals for it, and there was a few times where he'd go to get into something, and he'd be like feeling it on the mic, and he's like ready to go, and he'd go to sing, and like something would fuck up, his voice would crack or something like that. So no. And I would keep all those, and like anytime we were working on it or something, I'd just randomly like go down and solo it and just play it really quick, and just to get everyone laughing, dude, because some of it's so fucking funny.
But Colton just kind of made a whole compilation of every one of them. That's
awesome.
And just made a full song out of it. Just
And the best part is too, he didn't place them on purpose. He just dragged them off to the side, and they perfectly
they
put.
just matched perfectly.
Did you put drums and guitar and stuff
No,
to it, or
it's
no?
just vocals, straight vocals, and Alex doing like sounds like the penguin off of a
How long is that?
Adventure Time.
It's like maybe a minute and a half.
Yeah, a minute and a
So
half,
it's actually,
2 minutes.
but it's like song.
It's like a full song, yeah.
That's why we want to put it out as a bonus.
Nice.
So,
That's awesome. Okay. So you guys were talking about putting out CDs. So it's not just going to be a digital release. You're going to make albums also.
If someone asks for it,
Okay. So it's like by order, kind of.
yeah, basically, like one of our friends is like, "Hey, can I get a physical copy?" Yeah, sure. Let me
Okay.
just burn one off. It's not.
Yeah, we're a
Yeah,
former
CDs
band. We're not really trying to sell anymore. I mean,
That's fair.
It's in the past.
That's
and
fair.
We tend to.
We've
keep it
all, I guess, I have moved on to other stuff.
It
there. I mean,
doesn't.
I moved on to other stuff too. I'm
Have
still
you?
playing music.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
not
in
like
church.
a band, but
Yeah.
I became the main drummer for the Highland Park worship team.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
so
Okay.
it was kind of cool, but it sucked at the same time. But basically, I so-called ended one day, and then the very next day, they're like, "Hey, you want to? Our drummer's moving to Colorado. Do you want to
Oh,
come play for us?" And
shit.
it's like a 3,000 person church.
Oh wow! Holy
Yeah.
crap!
Yeah.
Oh, that's the new one out there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. I've only been in that church once or twice when I was delivering pizza years ago when they first built it, and I walked in there. I remember the first time I walked in there because it was a delivery, and I walked in the front, and it's like, how the hell am I supposed to find where this is supposed to go? It's like you walk in there and it's like
huge.
there's massive corridors on either side, and I'm like, there's 40 million rooms in this building. Where's the guy with the pizza? Like, yeah. So that's a big facility, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very big facility. So how often do you drum there for their choir? Is
It's not usually choir. It's like just their main worship team, just like guitar. Five singers up front. They kind of rotate them around. But
Okay.
I am I'm doing it about 3 weeks out of every month, 3 or 4 weeks out of the month.
Oh, damn. So damn near
Yeah.
once a week then.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yep. And it is low key a paid gig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So-
Nice. Well, that's good, man. That's good.
Mhm.
I mean, doing what you like for a place that you like
Mhm.
and also making a little money on it. So there's
So
nothing.
I call it a blessing. I mean, I'm not gonna offend anybody here. I'm just
No.
like, I mean,
I am atheist, but I'm not advocate atheist. So it's just.
have
how
you
it
heard
is.
the good
Yeah.
news?
all right. Alex is out. He's leaving.
No, but it's really cool. I mean, we kind of did. We just want to keep the music going. Without music, we can't live our lives,
dude.
man.
if I wasn't able to pick up, I mean, that's why I have guitars hanging on the walls. Like at any moment, I can just like if I need to get it out, just pick that up and start playing.
Absolutely.
You know, it has to be. I feel like if I didn't have music as an outreach, I would have. I mean, I already have problems, but I would have like some serious problems, right? I mean, we all got problems, but I feel like music really helps me. Like, I don't know, just helps you kind of evaluate things. And
especially drumming, such a stress reliever.
It's so great. You ever get pissed off, dude? You
Sweat
just
it out.
come home and start smashing. It's awesome, dude. And then before you know it, you play drums super hard for shit, even like 20 minutes, and before you know it, you're like, it is what it is. It is what it is. It seems okay now. I'm really sweaty. I should take a shower.
See, for me with guitar, it's like I'll be pissed about something, so I'll go home, try and play something super fucking like technical or hard. Then I'll be more pissed at the thing that I tried to play and realize that the thing that I was pissed at originally doesn't matter.
See, there you go. Yeah, you
I'm like,
switch.
then I'm just done with that. I'm like,
switch the focus to something a little bit more menial.
Yeah.
Oh, weird thing is I don't sweat, man, when I drum.
Don't.
It's all controlled.
Don't come in here. You flexing right now, Alex? You coming in here flexing on me?
No, I promise not.
Tell me.
It's
How do you not sweat?
I'm just not a very sweaty person, honestly, in the first place. But like,
He's flexing again, isn't he? You're flexing, dude.
Do you want me
it's
to
all
be successful?
controlled drumming, dude. You gotta have control when you drum. That's what I taught students when I worked at Vibes. And
Yeah, how long have you been playing drums, by the way?
9.5 years.
Jeez, okay. And has it been like, do you play other stuff? Do you know how to play guitar or anything? Or
I taught myself guitar. I taught myself piano. I can't
Okay.
really play much piano, but I did write a few songs on guitar. I sing.
Nice.
First instrument I ever played was flute.
Oh, really?
In the marching band.
Oh
Yep.
man. Okay, I could say some stuff. But I won't.
Throw it at me, man. I'm just flexing on you.
Yeah, that's true. You're flexing anyways. So.
See, he doesn't sweat because he wears other people's skin.
Oh no, they have this.
Ooh.
Caroline's Way, when they were still together, he was like, "I'm gonna write a song about Alex Webster, how he cuts people's skin off and wears it."
That's
All right.
that's a band that I meant to bring up earlier. We were talking about some of your former band members, and you said Elijah, and I don't know why it got me thinking about Raiden. Maybe it was just because like I was thinking about people with weird names, but Raiden was in Caroline's Way, wasn't he?
Yep.
Shout out to Rockstar Music. You guys are the shit. I don't know if he still works there or not, but I know that he did
Such a
work
good
there.
guy. He's a really good guy.
Dude, he's an awesome guy. He sold me my Schecter C1 Platinum
Very nice.
when it was down there. Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I traded it for the black LTD that's over there. But dude, super cool dude, and he's always been super nice and like really supportive of other bands and stuff. Like, yeah, man, if you got flyers, bring them down, and we'll make sure to get them on the wall and stuff. Whatever happened to them? Do you guys know anything about that band? Caroline's
We
Way?
don't really know the story of why they ended it. I don't know, but basically they kind of branched off and started new bands. You know, when you when one band ends, you start another one. You know, that's kind of how music goes nowadays.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, and maybe musical differences, I would imagine. But
Sure.
Elijah came to us.
Okay.
That's when he joined So-Called.
Was Elijah in Caroline's Way?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
the
was?
vocalist.
Okay, see, they were both in that
Yeah.
band. Boom, I didn't even know that.
He was the vocalist for them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Once
nice.
they ended, I found out that they ended, and I was like, "Hey, Chris, we need a bassist. Should I hit up Elijah? Because he played bassist, or bass, not bass. He played bassist.
He played bassist.
He played bass for Caroline's Way and sometimes guitar. So I know he knows how to finger tap too, and he was good at it. And so we recruited him, and it was fun.
Did he even get to play a show with us?
Yeah, he played a show with us.
Did he?
Yeah, like one or two.
Oh, yeah, the Firefly.
There was one show we were gonna play with him, but we ended up backing out of it. And I hate backing out of shows, man.
And to make it worse, it was the day of, too.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's always a bummer.
Yeah.
What happened?
One person wasn't comfortable playing because we had all the new stuff recorded, so they were, and we didn't want to play a show without them, so it was just kind of.
It makes sense because like some of our songs we like transferred like in a new style and like with new lyrics during the recording process, so it didn't even sound like we used to play them in our shows.
That's what, and a lot of times that happens in the studio. You go into production, and
It's like-
before you know it, the songs get rewritten and reworked,
Oh, yeah.
and they come out damn near completely different.
Yeah, but a little bit better, you know, a little
10 times
better.
better.
Yeah,
structure.
that's what it is. Yeah, they always flow a lot better. You know, everything transitions
The
better.
structure was
like
nice.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember on You Can't Dig Holes in the Backyard, we spent.
You can't dig holes in the
You
backyard.
can't
Dig.
dig holes. But we spent probably like 2.5, almost 3 hours just on one little part because we couldn't figure out what worked best with it. And then it was also trying to get the tone too, so it was just chugging the same thing.
Yeah.
I remember getting so fucking pissed. I was like, God, someone, Case, you take the guitar and you chug. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm going outside.
So you're a metal guitar player by trade, I guess, right? What is, like, I being just mostly a drummer that switched over to playing guitar, I have a really, really hard time chasing tone for, like, distortion and stuff. What do you, like, what's your, let's start here. What's your setup? Like, what do you play? And, like, if you had your metal setup, right? What would,
well,
what
I
is
can't
it? I don't know.
afford what I want.
That's why I said, what would it be or what is it?
So in the studio, I actually found it, and I was like, that was nice. It was a PV 5150 head. Super nice tone.
Such
oh
nice.
my god,
That's
it was
such
so
nice
nice.
amps.
And then it was I think it was like a Mesa 3000 cab or something like that.
So,
but it was a really, really nice sound. But at home, I have a little, like, as much as they get shit on, like a spider amp.
You do?
Yeah, because it's simple.
No.
It's for home.
Yeah,
so
that's
fair. It doesn't need anything fancy.
Yeah.
And I can go from clean to distorted and and that.
Even though the distortion sounds like a hand slapping paper, but
the one that they have preset on there. But if you mess with the things, you can make it sound somewhat better.
Okay.
Yeah. But the stuff that I would play at shows is a Fender Jazzmaster, a 1987 Fender Jazzmaster. Weirdly enough,
I bet that sounds pretty good.
It was, yeah, because I have an Epiphone SG.
Okay.
So that guitar with that gave it this really nice kind of crunchy,
kind of like a British sounding
almost,
crunch,
yeah,
probably,
almost a classic, like hard rock sound too.
That sounds about right. Those SGs are kind of built for heavier tones, so.
Which was really cool.
And those SGs alone, man, those guitars weigh like 60 pounds. They're crazy. I can't
Mine's
believe.
super nice, super light.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
my uncle had an SG a long time ago. Maybe it was just because I was younger, so maybe I haven't held one in a long time, but maybe it was just because I was younger. But I remember, and I probably had never felt like an actual like, well-designed guitar at that point in my life. So when someone handed me one that was actually built right, I was like, oh my god, these are heavy.
But you guys are talking about guitars. I'm just messing with the cat.
We did this on the last podcast with Poetry No Pros. Josh was sitting over here on the couch, and I was geeking out with Jebby and Ryan about gear, and Josh is just like, Josh only plays drums. Like he doesn't know how to play guitar or anything. So when it comes to us, specking out on things, he's just like, I'm kind of hungry. I don't know. What kind of kit do you play?
Oh, I had a D drum set. It was I had like a Cat K2 electric drum set that I traded in for $250, and then $250 on the table. So like $500 total for like a D drum set that I got from Rockstar.
Nice.
And
shout
it was
out to
nice.
boys.
Yeah, shout out some more. And I had to get some new heads for it, just some Evans heads.
Okay.
Those things are really nice for a drum set. You can make a crappy drum set sound like a professional drum set.
A new set of heads, it's kind of like, I equate it to, I would assume in the guitar world, it's kind of like changing out your speakers in a guitar cab, going from like line 6 speakers to like some vintage 30s or something.
Yeah.
Like changing heads on a drum set, going from the factory heads or even just like some heads that have been beaten to hell. Putting a new set of heads on them, like you said, you can get a good drum tone out of damn near any drum as long as you put heads on it and tune it right.
The sad thing about my drum set though is it was left at the band house for 3 or 4 other bands to practice on.
Oh boy.
And so by the end of it, man, like the cymbals, one of the cymbals had like a giant bite mark out of it. And then the other one had like a broken part right where it slides on in the hole, and it was just like wobble.
Oh boy!
And let's see, I had to replace.
Oh, like right where it comes down over the peg, it was broken right there on the little donut.
It's
man,
like it's just I don't know.
Over the place.
It was terrible and it sounded terrible, but it lasted a while. It's in my closet now. I mean, I don't really have anywhere to put it. I don't have all the pieces for it because a lot of things were missing. A lot of things were borrowed for shows.
Sure.
By the end of it, like, I think, who was it that threw, like, I think Ethan or something, like, jumped straight, like, and tackled Case.
Oh, that was Brendan, David, Ethan, and a bunch of people from the crowd.
Yeah, and they broke my drum throne. And I just kind of come down and I'm like, what happened here? And they're like, I don't know. Nobody said anything, and I was like, all right, I will replace this myself, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, because that was one of the last weekend jazz shows that I played, and they didn't tell me anything about that.
He just tackled his whole drum set.
And then Logan's whole bass cab system just face planted.
Oh my god!
I had a drum throne, so I had to borrow cases from now on, and then I used Case's snare, and it was a Franken kit. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
It's like Case's like cymbal and my cymbal and my hats, and then Case's snare, his throne, my toms, and then my kick drum, and then my double bass pedals.
It was your guys' love child.
That is definitely a Franken kit, man. So are you still playing the same shells, or is that, you said you're playing D drum shells, right? Are you still playing those, or different? Have you moved on from that?
I haven't played that drum set in a while. It's still just kind of hanging out in my closet. I just kind of play on a...
You have like a house kit up at the church or something?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
nice.
They gave me a code to the church, and I just kind of go practice there whenever I need to.
What's that kit? Is it pretty nice?
It's a really nice kit.
I
I
bet.
think it's I actually can't even think of the name. I don't know.
But it's a nice kit.
It's so nice. It's got these brand new cymbals on it, and it's got, I don't even know what, I'm a drummer and I don't even know parts of like of the drum set. But
Come on,
like
man!
this
I'm
really
trying to drill
cool
you.
cymbal. It's a really cool cymbal with holes all over it.
Oh, yeah, those are
It kind of sounds like a splash.
Yeah, but it's a crash cymbal. It sounds like a splash. I can't remember what they call those either, but
it's really...
Dave Boyer, shout out Dave Boyer. He plays one of those in the Shivers. He's got one of those crashes with all the holes in it, or he did. I don't know if he still does, but they're cool sounding. They're really cool
I
sounding.
think it's got like an 8 or 10-inch tom and like a 12-inch tom, or low tom and a high tom and snare, hats, 3 crash cymbals, and
Nice.
then I'll add double bass pedals on there for the Christmas production this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I get to be a part of that.
kick it up a
and,
notch a little
yeah,
bit.
they're having us do like this drum solo like thing. It's really cool. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want double bass pedals, so I'm like,
Yeah.
just like, okay, cool.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
I told him he just needs to do the thing from that drum video that you saw.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on the last song on the EP. Just do that.
dude, it had
You
me
have no
seriously.
idea how hard that was.
No, I do, because I was there with you.
I
all
do.
36
I know how
takes.
hard that was. And I'm a drummer.
I saw that breakdown that you had.
You gotta have some chops for that, man. And there's a reason it took me like 36
I was just gonna
tries.
say, didn't it take you like 36 tries to get that?
Exactly. It is very difficult to play.
How many tries was it actually? I don't remember you saying
No,
what it was.
wasn't 36.
All right, here
tries.
it is. Here it is. So off camera before they got in here,
Pretty sure.
Alex was saying that there's a clip of him on their Facebook. If you go to Facebook and type in "so called" and go to their videos, it's when they were recording with Colton, and he's doing a drum clip, and it's fucking impressive. First of all, second of all, I don't know. I don't know how you did it, man.
I don't know. I came
Apparently
up with
it took 36 takes. That's what I was getting at. Apparently it took him 36 takes, but we're about to get the real story. It wasn't
According
36
to
takes.
It did not
Okay,
take
were you there?
36
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
He
I was
was
the one
there.
recording it.
Oh.
He says
Yeah.
36 takes, and then I was like, all right, last one, and I got it on the very last one.
And then
But-
you just kept going with it.
Yeah.
Was that the
yeah.
one that you recorded? Was that the
Yeah,
take
because
that
I
you
had to
got?
restart 36 times. That's
that
how I
same-
know.
That same exact clip is in the recording. So like,
Oh, okay.
it's
That's the one
that clip
Yeah.
is
That's
what
the
you'll
take.
hear on the recording.
Yeah.
That's awesome. man.
But yeah, no, I was kind of, sometimes I would hit my hands with my sticks, and I was like, oh, and then I had this huge freak out on, he
And I
decided
got
to
it on
post
camera.
it. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back to this. But that whole EP, I got done in one day.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
that was
God. Well, no
impressive.
wonder you had a breakdown, dude. That's a lot of drumming for one day. Man.
Oh, yeah.
5 songs in a day is a lot.
It's kind of cool. I also kind of want to be like a studio sessions drummer. I've done a few albums like for Figures and Fiction. I got done in 1 day or 2 days.
That
1 or
wasn't
2 days. I don't
wasn't
know. I
there.
get it done in a decent amount of time.
Yeah. Colton talks very highly of you too, man. He's like, he knows. He's like, anytime I need drum work done, dude, and Alex comes in and just gets it done.
Not metal. Definitely not metal
Not
music.
metal?
No, I'm not. I'm not good with my feet, man. Like for Goo, I had some struggles with the very ending. You didn't hear Goo, did you? Or
No,
you
I haven't heard
listened
any
to
of it yet. No.
Oh, there's this.
I gotta make sure
so
I got
kinda-
it still, because we gotta figure that out if I didn't. But
The very first song, there's like a pause that everybody's like, oh, the song's over. And then all of a sudden there's this very last part that we play, and it's got double bass pedal in it. It's like a... I was very hard to keep consistent, because my hands are more consistent than my feet. My
Yeah.
right foot, I played with right foot. Just
your whole life, right?
Yeah. And as soon as I moved to double bass pedal, I was like, what is left? What
yeah,
is
oh yeah,
left
dude, I'm the
foot?
same way. Yeah, I'm definitely not comfortable playing with, because I don't in the same way. I grew up playing punk music, so it's all single foot, double tap. A lot of
So
that
I
stuff.
had some struggles with that last part, but I mean the rest of the EP It was good. Even the very last song, like the rough recording before he even mixed it, it doesn't sound any different from the master. Like I'm talking about not just drums, but like the rough recording of everybody. It sounds really good for not being touched at all.
Oh yeah,
People Fall.
I mean, it definitely sounds cleaner when it's mastered, but
yeah, absolutely. But that song turned out really good for raw recordings.
Yeah.
So.
Told you the cat would come see you at some point.
Hello, kitty cat.
There's Cinnamon.
Kitty cat.
She's one of the Spice Girls that hangs out around here. Pepper's probably out laying on the couch somewhere, or she's out. No, like she might be out in the snow. I don't know. But yeah, that's so 5 songs on the EP. What are the names of all the songs?
So we have Goo, and we wanted to name it Goo Wants to Go Outside, but it just ended up Goo.
I didn't know
Goo.
we wanted it to name it that.
Jack wanted to name it that.
See, that's why we're in here. You learn things, right? Yeah.
There was Torn. There's Stuck in My Room. Goes into Holes in the Back. You can't dig holes in the backyard.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
People Fall, Shit Happens, Get Over It.
Ooh, I like that.
I think that's what it's called.
I like that.
No.
I don't know.
People fall, things break, shit happens.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I kind of like that. Yeah, that's that. I like that title. You guys just sent it out, so do you guys have any projections on when it'll be available on these places?
Week or two.
You just got to wait for them to get back to you, right? Did you guys go through DistroKid for that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
dude, DistroKid is the shit.
Yeah, just kind of send it out, and then they're like,
"Oh
okay,
man, you give them the files with a photo, and they're like, yep, photo works, files work. All right, everyone in the world has it. Like every site you can think of has your music."
Well, what's cool is like they for us because the plan that I had on there, they had to where it will go on YouTube ads, it'll go on YouTube, Spotify, literally everything.
Yep.
Even Napster, which I didn't even think was still a thing.
I didn't think they were around either, but I saw that too. It goes on like all these CD Baby and Napster and like, wow, I didn't even know those places were around still. And like Reverb Nation was one that popped up, and I was like, Reverb Nation, man, I haven't been on that website in forever. But you can go there and type it in, and there comes all of our albums, acoustic, and our first 2. So yeah, it's nuts, dude. I love using DistroKid. The only thing that I've noticed that is kind of a downside to it, where like if you're on Spotify and you use it as like a Spotify artist and you pay for the Spotify subscription as an artist, you can go in every year and like check your analytics, and like it'll tell you how many sales you made and like how many downloads and streams and all that stuff. If you're on DistroKid, it doesn't really do that. I don't know if maybe they do that through the website. Maybe I haven't done that.
They do it through the website, because you can go
Okay.
to like if you go to bank, it'll show you how much you've made just based from that track or album, whatever. Then you can go to excruciating details, and it'll break it down by country, by stream, by website. Like it'll be like 0.0025 cents for a stream on Spotify.
Okay, all right.
Which is standard.
Oh,
But
okay. I see. I didn't know that, and it's just probably just because I'm not very observant with stuff like that. I'm just like the way I use a lot of things is, this is once they tell me that it's in all these stores, I'm like, all right, that's pretty much the only reason I need this thing. So like as long as they keep pushing it to the store, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Well, because when we were like recording Turnover, the first single, we were asking Colton like, how do you get it out, because we don't know. And he was telling us, well, there's DistroKid, there's CD Baby, and there was a few others that he named. So that night, I spent like 4 hours just researching all of them. And I was like, hey, we should use DistroKid. We make 100% of the profits.
And that's another nice thing about them. They don't. There's no royalties.
Yep.
Like DistroKid's like, dude, it's your, and that's part of their. That's part of their. That's shout out DistroKid. This is not a sponsored video, but God, I wish it was, because that would be awesome. But they're great, because that's part of their, like, when you're signing up for it and stuff, they're like, hey, just so you're aware that we are not using your music for our own personal gain. We are literally trying to help you. So when you make a sale, you get the money.
And for $20 a year, that's
$20
a
year, dude. That's so sick. That was my big. I was like, okay, wait a second. You're gonna put me in 1,500 stores across the country, across the world, and I pay you $20 a year.
Yeah.
And people can still buy those from the websites. They set up everything for you. There's no legwork at all.
Yeah.
Just give these guys $20 a year, and some guy with a computer does it all for you. I'm like,
really
nice. That's what I'm all about, dude. I'm all about that kind of stuff.
Because I know, like Apple and things like that, they take a slight profit from the actual thing being in the store.
Right.
But CD Baby, not Baby, takes a share of all of it that you earn, and you get.
Oh, they take a percentage of your earnings as a whole, which is like way more.
CD Baby, and so do the other ones that I saw. But DistroKid was the only one that I could find that didn't take anything from you, put it out on everything, and it's $20 a year. So.
Yeah, like how do they do something like that? Because like you were saying, if Apple's taking a small portion off of every sale, how does DistroKid get around that? I don't care because they don't. But...
So there's different plans you can do. There's $20 a year, which is the base plan, and then there's also one to where you can be your own label. So your
that's
label,
right. That's
your
right.
label wouldn't be DistroKid or whatever.
It would be
It would be your personal thing that you can do on there, and then you can also change the like say which time, what date you want on there, like specific date. Like let's say I wanted it done 3 days to be out instead of a week.
Oh, I see. You get priority on that kind of stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's like
And
boosted priority basically.
There's also one where it's just strictly a like a company to do that for.
Oh.
It's weird. There's a bunch of different tiers, but the $20 is the easiest one.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
You don't really need anything
$20
else.
again, $20 and they do everything for me. So I'm like, take my money, dude. That's fine. As long as I can type it in somewhere or tell someone to type it in somewhere. Any music app they have open. Other than TouchTunes. What up, TouchTunes? Like, come on. I put my application in for them like years ago, and they're like, we have a lot of people that like. It's funny because once you sign up for it, or last time I did anyways, they send you back this little notification after you fill out your app, and it's like, thank you so much for your submission. We really appreciate your downloads and stuff like that. And then below that, there's like a little footnote that's like, don't get worried if you don't see your stuff come up right away. We have a lot of submissions to sort through and things like that. And here I am like 4 years later and haven't heard a single word from them. And I'm like, thanks guys, appreciate that. I just wanted it in a couple jukeboxes around town so I could feel good about myself and come in and go, my band's on this jukebox, you know.
That's kind of how I feel. Because like, so there's. Have you ever heard of Danger Kids, like the band?
Oh, I feel like I have. Name sounds familiar.
Well, their like lead vocalist records and produces things like that, and he does this whole like last band standing thing on Facebook, and it's basically artists from around the world. You can ask questions, and they'll give you their opinion on certain things. It's really cool. I use it a lot. But they made this playlist on Spotify, and I entered to get on there for like 6 months, and I was gonna be a big surprise to everybody.
You're like, you guys, I have this thing.
And then at literally the day after everything kind of went to shit, and we all kind of broke up.
They emailed you back?
And it was approved and put on there. I was like, oh, fuck. It was like, I think 27,000 listeners on that one playlist. And I was like, hey, guess what? Cool.
That's a bummer.
Well, hey, man, at least you made it on there. Someone heard it, right? Someone heard it. That's all that matters, dude. That's a lot of the reason why I just make random shit and put it on the internet is because, like, who knows? You know, someone's going to hear it at some point. I don't know.
It's good memories, man.
And it's just nice to be able to recall those things. You don't have to save them in your computer. You're just like, oh, yeah, I uploaded that to YouTube years ago. And then before you know it, it pops up and you're like, oh, yeah, nice. It's still there. I can listen to this. It's good. That's nostalgia factor is good. I still have some really, really old stuff floating around on MySpace somewhere. And if I ever figure out how to log back into there, I think I can get that stuff back off of there. But I don't know. Did MySpace change their...
I think they should now.
Is it like fully shut down now?
Think so,
they
yeah.
got rid of everything. I haven't been there in years.
Yeah,
So
last time I checked, they were like some music thing too.
MySpace, yeah. Last time I looked, they were like trying to gear it more towards being a music thing, but that was years ago. So you're probably right. They probably shut down since then and haven't.
You know what we're talking about?
I never used MySpace, so
Oh, okay.
no.
I was one of those kids, and in like middle school, 6th grade, had the laptops that they gave you, and I was like, "Ooh, MySpace."
Deck out your MySpace.
Yeah, I just wasn't allowed.
Go make your own backgrounds and stuff, like your own, and you music players on there, and you have like this fire ass playlist on your music.
Yeah,
player. Like, dude, people are gonna see my page and see all these sweet songs.
I wanted to log into my MySpace like a long time ago to see what music I was listening to at the time.
Yeah, like what you had on your player. Yeah.
I just forgot a lot of the music, and I wish I could, but
What a cool time for like a self-promoting, like what a cool time for self-promotion, because you could. That's one thing that I really liked about it. You could make your MySpace anything you wanted to. It didn't have to be laid out like anyone else's. You could like change things around and change the position and do different different banner animations before the page actually dropped in. It was a kind of like a really good in for kids getting into like coding and stuff, because you had to pull your own codes and like put them all in there to make the backgrounds process and stuff like that. And I remember having to do a lot of that shit. I lost it all now because now you don't have to. You just have a Facebook and it's really boring and you scroll up through the thing. But it was a really, really cool time for that, man. It's too bad that they shut down.
Because I know like Hollywood Undead made it big because of MySpace.
Did they really? They were MySpace. There were a lot of MySpace. MySpace Records was a thing. Like they had a freaking record label.
They had all of their music, from what I know, like put on their MySpace, and then they had people go to that MySpace. It was like a band page essentially
Yeah,
for them.
like pioneering a band page.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's awesome.
And then
Great time
I think originally they were just called Hollywood, and the first single that they gave to a label was the song Undead.
Oh.
So the people were like, Hollywood Undead, nice. And like,
Oh, I see.
cool, that's our name.
That's
now.
the name, yeah, because they liked it, so that's our name. They said yes, so we said okay. Like that's cool, man. Yeah, it would have been really, really cool for them to branch out on something, but I'm glad I got to use it while I was around. It was fun, man. It was fun to just see other people's profiles, and there was always something going on MySpace. Like, dude, I got this new thing. Check out this new feature, and you'd see it on their page, and then 2 days later, every single person had one because it was just like, I don't know, just kind of the thing to do. But
mostly little kids. But,
yep. Yeah, most of the time you're
middle
competing.
school kids.
Yeah, mostly just a group of. Yeah, I think I was in 8th grade, 9th grade at like the height of the MySpace era. So, and then Facebook started coming out, and everyone was switching over to Facebook, and somehow that's still around today. But I admit, Facebook, my Facebook honestly is more used for promotional situations than anything.
Mine's all just memes.
Either that or
That's literally all it
posting
is.
something stupid or posting a flyer for a show or reposting a link for one of these podcasts or something like that.
Dude, I had my Facebook for 10 years, 2010. Yeah, that's when I first started it up, and I decided to make a new one. I was like, I have too many friends. I don't know many of these people. And
yeah.
Wow,
I
Alex,
just have all these
cool.
pictures that I don't want
He had
people
too
to
many
see.
friends. He had to start over.
Yeah, dude,
So
10
cool,
years
Alex.
worth
Peaked,
of
man.
friends and people that I don't know, and then I'm like, all right, let's be friends. I want to see how many friends I can have, and it's like we're not even friends in real life. So what's the
I've
point?
never even met you. Why are you my friend? Like, this is weird.
But yeah, I just kind of started over because I was seeing all this stuff that I was like, oh, this person got married. Who are you?
I don't know who you are. Yeah. Facebook's kind of getting that same way now too. It's just you just add 1,000 people and don't know half of them. And I see it now as my Facebook. There's a lot of people on my Facebook I don't know. But the way I see it is I don't care, because if they see my posts on my Facebook for a show or something, that's just that many more views. Like, regardless of if they live here or anything like that, it's all about, because, man, hate to break it to you kids, but being in a band these days is a lot about internet analytics, unfortunately. So how many likes can you get? How many views can you get? How many thumbs up can you get? And
You gotta project yourself out there, man.
You have to. That's the only way to do it now.
Get noticed.
Everyone's on the internet. Everyone's on Facebook. Everyone's on Instagram. So if you're not doing it that way, you can do it. You can do it. But in a place like Wyoming, it's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard to get noticed out of Wyoming, even when you're doing that stuff, let alone if you're non-existent on the internet. It's almost impossible.
How do people come up with oh, I'm gonna try and get famous off of music, but you're living in Wyoming, you're just like,
Country.
I want to. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You start out playing country, and then you go to Nashville and you jump on a country circuit, and then there you go.
Because my voice would literally be perfect for country. New plan.
There you go. There you go.
Sing it, baby, lock them doors.
Sing it, baby. Let me hear. Speaking of which, speaking of new doors, do you guys have? I meant to ask you this earlier. So you said you were playing for the church, right? Are you doing anything, Chris?
I'm in Get Bent now.
Oh, you are playing in Get Bent.
Yep.
Oh shit! Did you guys play the Declan Dean show this last summer at the Gaslight? I know Get Bent played, but were you in the band at that point? That would have been
They played at the Gaslight pretty recently.
September.
Yeah, it would have been September because
Yeah.
we had just finished off that little tour. I was actually filling in for bass on tour because David came up to me after the whole so-called thing happened. He's like, "Hey, you want to fill in for bass for us?" Cool. I don't own a bass though.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's no beef between you and David or anything. I didn't know what the situation was there. So, and we're not going to get into that.
When I first moved back here and got to know everybody, me and him butted heads. So did me and Alex. We butted heads a lot.
Really?
Because we're all just very opinionated people and we're very stubborn.
and you're all good at what you do. So
Then it was like, no, this sounds good. No, that sounds like absolute shit. My thing sounds good. But so with Alex, it just kind of got better at a time. Once me and him actually agreed on a part for a song, so I was like, okay, it's gotten better.
cool. Yeah, that's good.
And then with me and David, I talked to him. I was like, okay, you and me, we're We need to make this work.
Yeah, right.
And then it just got better from there.
Well, that's good. That's good, dude. Get Ben's doing great stuff. So you played with them at the Hated show at Butch's.
Yep.
Dude, that was a nasty show, friend.
I know.
That was, wow. Like I said, I talked about it on the last podcast. I unfortunately didn't get to see you guys play. I missed you guys and Day by Day, but I have seen both of you guys before. So, and man, when I got there, like I showed up as Hated was getting all their shit like loaded onto the stage. It was like there was no standing room even when I was just watching them load on. And I was up there. They started their set, and I was pretty damn close to the front of everybody for the first like 2 songs. And I'm kind of old now, so after 2 songs, I was like, all right, I got to step back because I'm getting really sweaty and people are hitting me in the face, and I'm
See, for me,
my 30-year-old body isn't liking this very much anymore. So
for me, it's a whole anxiety factor. That's why I don't like mosh pits, because of all those people surrounding me.
It can go bad quick. I've seen a lot of mosh pits go really bad really quick.
I usually stand to the side, and I was like right next to Colton, and stay there the entire time after we played, but Day by Day blew me away.
Dude, have you ever seen them before?
Never even heard of them before.
Yeah, they're
and
good,
then
huh?
like they were playing, and it felt like I was in a music video, like the bass drops and everything. It seemed like my vision was being distorted. I was like,
they're good,
holy
man.
fuck.
They're really, really good. Shout outs to Get Bent, and shout outs to Day by Day, and shout out to Hated. Fuck it, we'll do the shout out thing, I guess. But that was a really fucking cool show. I'm just gonna say it. Colton and Jordan need to do another show.
Oh,
you guys need to just play again, because that was cool.
I've told him they need to many times.
I think literally everyone they've talked to has probably been like, dude.
I went and got a haircut, and it was Jordan's fiance, I think.
Yeah,
fiance or girlfriend.
Fiance, I think.
And I told her, I was like, they need to do another show, even if it's just an annual thing. That'd be
seriously do one a year,
sick.
and that might make it like a really sick event.
It would too,
if they did it once a year.
Waiting for it.
And
Halloween show.
A Halloween show, like specify, like kind of make it like this is the time of year that our band comes out, and they could play a whole new set of music every year, and like, oh man, ideas, boys. If you're watching this, ideas. That would be really, really cool, man. But I super appreciate those guys. They're really, really cool guys.
Oh, yeah.
And it's awesome that Colton is a fucking wild producer. He's so, good, dude.
He made So Called sound good.
Oh, yeah. he gave us a lot of good ideas for.
Yeah, he's
our album.
He's a great producer, man, and he makes things sound so good. I'm still chasing some of his tones, dude. Like I chase down some of his sounds for months at a time. Sometimes I'm like, how the fuck did he do that? How did he do that? How did he make those drums sound like they were recorded with mics that were, 125 yards apart? He makes them sound like they're outside the speakers. It's crazy.
For
dude.
Turnover, the single, he used 24 mics.
He used 22 for the record single.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. He had mics like outside the room in different rooms that he was using, and like putting a bunch of saturation on them, so you get like this nasty compressed crunch, and then just like bringing it in real lightly underneath stuff, so the drums were just like fucking fuzzy and angry. It was, dude, it's...
Every few takes, he would come and tune the drums again, especially the snare.
Yep, snare.
That thing can fall out of tune pretty
Yeah,
easily.
the lug that's closest to the player, where the stick makes contact with the rim, that lug falls out pretty frequently. Yeah, you really got to keep an eye on that. And that's another thing about him, dude. Another thing that makes him a great producer is he keeps an eye on stuff. Make sure it stays in.
Yep.
Every, if you're tracking guitar with him, every 1 take or 2 takes, he's like, tune. Go ahead and tune.
Yeah.
And then you do a take, and he's like, yep, good take, tune.
Start over.
Yep.
Start over. Okay, that was great, but do it
Yep.
better next time.
Yep. We talked about that a little bit. I do the same thing, like even when the guitar player is getting a great take, one of the nice things about sitting behind the controls is it's a great take, and he knows it's a great take, but you can make him think it was a great take, when really as a producer what you're doing is just keeping that take, and now you're getting the layer, but you're like, you can do it better. You can do it better. Yeah. And unbeknownst to you, you're just making your second pass.
And you're like, God damn it.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, perfect at the end of it, and then he plays them both, and you're like, oh, that's why you did that. Oh, you tricky son of a bitch. But yeah. Shout outs to everybody, man. Shout outs to everyone we've been talking to. It's been fun, man. We've been talking for over an hour, dudes.
Holy cow.
Talking for over an hour. So yeah.
It's more just bullshitting at this point.
That's what this entire premise of this thing is, man. I just have people in. I like to get to know people. I didn't know you guys before today. I mean, I knew who you were. I knew of you, but I didn't know you guys before today. I wish you were still driving your Subaru, man.
No, I wish too.
I was gonna geek out on you.
You even thought ahead and got some like bumper clips.
Not mine. Those aren't mine.
Those aren't yours?
Well, I changed them. They were gold when I bought it, but they're blue now. I changed out the color. Yeah, and partially, I think because something happened with my car. I don't know the history of it, but I think something happened because the front bumpers doesn't sit 100%. Like it looks straight as hell, but when you take it off of there, you can like it doesn't quite match up with the clips as well underneath the frame. So something happened, but it's not bad enough to warrant anything. So those little clips actually help keep the bumper secured to the car.
Oh yeah,
so.
that because those Subaru bumpers always just fall
Oh my
off.
god, they're like
It's
paper.
the
And it's funny. I just drove by a WRX the other day. It was just a hatchback one. I drove by it and same shit, same side and everything. And the bumper was like sagging down, and I could see in there because I had to replace the ones on mine, so I know what to look for. And then she came around the corner, and I looked in there, and I was like, "Yep, your clips broke. You're gonna need new clips, lady."
Some people just kind of give up. They're just like, just take the bumper off.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I'm
too.
over it. No, I wish I still had my Subaru, but
that was a pretty car, man.
Oh, I know.
Pretty
Her
car.
name was Rosa.
I remember that. I remember you posting pictures of it, dude. I was jealous as fuck, man. I was like, this kid,
Oh,
This kid
God.
just got his brand fucking new looking Subaru. It was beautiful.
It was awesome, but I burnt out the clutch twice.
Ooh.
The first one was a stage 3 clutch, and like I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I don't think it was my fault.
Yeah.
The dude had I bought it with an almost burnt out clutch.
Oh.
He made it seem like it was it's brand spanking new, you know. And then so I had it replaced to a stock clutch, which kind of sucked, but at the same time it's whatever. And so I was driving, and the dude that I bought it from, he was the owner of that Subaru, and I had him replace the clutch.
Oh, okay.
But they had bought parts from White's Mountain Subaru, and those parts he just stole, and he put in his own bunk parts in it. And so that's why, yeah.
Oh, let's not mention his name, but that's fucked up.
Nope, messed up, man.
That's fucked up. Whoever's out there that did that, you know who you are. I don't want to know because I'm not starting controversy here, but that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, I'm not.
Especially on a Subaru, man. Those cars are fucking problematic enough. Like,
yeah, but the guy that I was working with, he was like, yeah, the dude, this flywheel or whatever. He's like, this isn't the one that we got from White. So
White's.
those parts, like he put like even a metal clip like right under to catch the metal or whatever, but it's like there was like a hole in where the oil was or whatever. It was messed up. That car was just so sketch that I was like, I'm done. I don't want it anymore.
That's fair.
And so I just went and got something dependable.
Well, and to replace the clutch in those cars, don't you have to pull the engine?
Yeah,
it's an engine
whole
pull every
friggin'
time.
engine, man.
It's an engine pull every time.
Yeah, so
Dude, that's ugh, jeez. That's one thing that I always worry about with mine is like I hope it's fine, everything runs just fine in mine. Shout out Derek Vigil, what up, buddy? He basically went in and I don't know if you know who he is or not, but he basically
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he went in and essentially rebuilt that entire engine in that car, and
wow.
It runs great. It's got nice.
Subaru.
It's got brand new rod bearings, and like it's basically been rebuilt, brand new seals all the way around, and it's basically been rebuilt from the ground up. Head gaskets are just done, oil pan gasket, all that stuff. So
I mean, I enjoy the car. It's just like after an experience like that, it kind of ruins, your love for Subarus.
They can really quick, man.
Yeah.
I had a traumatic experience with the Subaru I had before this one, and it was kind of the same thing. I got into it thinking that it was a legacy. I got into it thinking that it was going to be a great car, and it was. It ran great. It wasn't turbo or anything. It was just a standard 2.5, so it wasn't ballsy or anything, but it was, it got fucking 27 miles to the gallon, and that's what I was kind of looking for. Mm-hmm. And drove it off the lot, and it drove fine for the first maybe week or week and a half that I had it. And it was like, I guess it was like right at 2 weeks that I had it. And all of a sudden, one day I got out of the car and I noticed that the engine was making this noise. And it wasn't like a very pleasant noise. And it only happened at a certain RPM when I was on the gas. And it was like a da 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 da, and I was like, what is that? And it was pretty prevalent. And so I took it into the shop and still had temp tags on it. Took it into the shop and had him look at it. And came out of the shop a few hours later, and the guy's like, yeah, it's piston slap. And I was like, oh, nice. So I got sold a lemon, basically.
So is that like, did it sound like someone dragging a stick along a chain link fence?
No,
because my car makes that noise.
So only when you're only at certain RPMs. So basically what piston slap is the piston is not forming properly to the cylinder. So when it's in its down cycle, like when you're off the clutch and it's in its, I don't remember what it's called, but its exhaust cycle, essentially, the piston is coming down and rattling inside of the cylinder. Okay. So at certain RPMs, like when I'm on the gas and it was like 2200 RPMs, it was like kind of like that same, kind of, maybe not like chain link, but some certain type of metal. If you were dragging a stick across a bunch of metal bars, that's kind of what it is. And it wasn't overly prevalent, but it was one of those things where you can hear it when you're driving the car. And man, it got to the point where I had to make a choice, kind of like you did. You know, it was one of those things where it's like, well, I can drive this car, and this was the dilemma I was kind of faced with. Was I can continue to drive this car, didn't have a problem with it, other than the fact that I knew it was essentially on its way towards a catastrophic engine failure. Like a piston slap at some point is going to ruin your fucking engine. So I can keep driving this car, and when the engine inevitably blows up, or it throws a rod, or does something like that, I can pay $5,000 to $7,000 to have an engine put into it. Same engine, no balls, no nothing, just same engine that's sealed up. Or I can sell that car for trade-in value to somebody, and get a car that already has an engine that runs well, that if something happens to it, I'd be willing to do the work on. I'm willing to work on that engine out there because it's an engine that I like, and it's turboed and it's fun to drive. They're fucking great to drive when they're working, dude. They're kicking awesome. The ass. But man, when they this one started leaking oil like 2 weeks after I bought it. And fuck, as well as I do, when a Subaru's leaking oil, that bitch is losing blood. Like it's not gonna last long when they're leaking oil. They I don't know, they're notorious for that kind of shit. But turned out to be a pretty simple fix. I didn't end up doing it myself because it was a lot of work and I didn't want to do it, so I just took it to Farley's. Shout out Farley's, they kick ass down there. If you need work done on an import, take it to them. They're great. But yeah, and since then the car runs fucking great, dude. I love it. I'm awesome, totally invested in Subaru. Love them. My sister and my brother-in-law drove a Subaru Baja for like fucking 9 years or something. Great car, dude. Awesome car. And so yeah, I love them. I love them when they're running. When they're running well, they're great. But like you said, sometimes you have these experiences, man. These nightmarish experiences with these cars. And it's like, fuck, dude. I don't know if I ever want to get back into one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyways, should we wrap this thing up?
Yes, we can wrap it up. I just wanted to get my spiel out. That's okay. That was like one of the main questions because I knew that you had that Subaru at one point, and I was like, I got to talk to him about that and see what's going on with that.
I love it. I loved the look of it. I kind of just fell in love with the look, and I didn't really look too deep into it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big car guy. I don't know what's going on.
As you're sitting here wearing a Bosch hoodie, not a big car guy.
Well, Bosch is more for my work. It's HVAC. It's
okay.
Like
that makes sense.
Heating and cooling and stuff like that.
I got you.
But yeah.
If you go through those experiences, man, it can really turn you off. So
absolutely.
But yeah, so a few plugs. This isn't going to post tonight, but anybody that sees it, me and Jason are playing down in Douglas tonight. Douglas tonight at Blend Coffee Company from 7 to 9. And what else is going on? I know there's shows coming up. I really need to get better about doing my research on this stuff. I think I wrote a list like one time for one of these. And
wait a couple weeks and our EP will be out.
Yes. Yeah, and it's called Overturn, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so so-called Overturn, and it's going to be available on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, iTunes.
And we'll post it on Facebook when it's out officially, so just kind of...
Yeah, Facebook Music now. Isn't that a thing? Like, there's like a music section on Facebook?
Yeah. So, it takes it from like Google or Apple and stuff like that.
It just uses a player from a different website.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, it's going to be available everywhere. And if you guys want a hard copy, apparently just get a hold of these two, and they'll hook that up for you. Well, cool, dude. Thank you guys so much for coming in, man. And I'm glad we got to talk about it, and excited to see more from Get Bent. And if you want to, man, talk to those guys. I'd be down to have them on for a podcast. So if you guys want to come in, man, we can definitely get it done. So thank you guys again. Keep an eye out. Support local music. Go to shows. Talk to people. There's a movement happening in Casper for music, and it's on the rise, man. And we're going to put this place on the map. So
get out of your comfort zone and go play some music.
Right there. Inspiring words. All right. I have Jeremy Amack and Sean Hill in next week for the band Repent. So that'll be next Sunday. So until then, keep it classy, guys. We'll see you later.